Topeka's Grace Cathedral, a Topeka landmark for over 65 years, was gutted by fire this morning in what may rank as one of the city's most devastating fires. Topeka firemen were called out shortly after midnight this morning. When they arrived, they reported that the rafters were already enveloped in flames. As the roof structure began collapsing, the firemen moved outside, attempting to keep the fire from spreading to adjoining structures. After the fire had done its damage, the last remaining embers had been extinguished. What was left resembled a bombed-out shell in London buildings during World War II and the German rocket attacks. The damage was high. Some of the items destroyed cannot be replaced, including many elaborate wooden carvings and, of course, the ornate stained glass windows that adorn the edifice.
Our official estimate at this time is $3 million to contents and building.
And secondly, do you have any idea of the cause of the fire?
At this time, nothing definite, no.
Do you have any evidence that is making you lean toward one particular possibility?
No, we haven't been able to make a thorough investigation of the debris yet as to determine what the possibility of the fire might be.
The initial report indicated that the fire may have started in a choir loft. The exact cause may not be known, however, for some time. In the meantime, Cathedral Dean Leslie Olson says the church will be rebuilt.
The question is, if the walls are secure, then we can use the walls. But if the walls are not secure, then we've got to do a complete replanning of the whole thing.
Do you have any idea about the insurance and what percentage of the loss it might possibly cover?
No, I don't have any idea. I know that simply that it can't possibly cover the replacement costs. In spite of the fact that the vestry has been very careful about insurance, the cost of replacing buildings has gone up so rapidly you just can't keep up with it.
And what is the very first thing that you have to do now?
Very first thing? Stop crying, I guess.
Major fire swept through one of Topeka's most revered landmarks early this morning. That fire completely destroyed the main sanctuary of the Grace Episcopal Church at 8th and Polk Streets. Reporters Bob Totten and Steve Burnett were on the scene, and they each have a report tonight on that fire.
Topeka firemen responded to the blaze at 12:39 this morning after a policeman reported seeing smoke inside the church. 10 fire trucks answered the 3-alarm blaze and began pumping water into the structure in 24-degree temperatures. Firemen first tried to stop the blaze in the sanctuary, but were unable to when the roof caved in. The 60 firemen called out to fight the fire, then worked upon a plan to keep the blaze between the sanctuary and the newer addition of the building. That idea worked. No one was injured in the blaze, which destroyed the second-largest Episcopal church in Kansas. Fire Chief Ben Neal explains what his men found when they arrived at the scene.
There was dense smoke as I was coming up on the fire, and I did approach it from the west side. The flames were just starting to break through the roof at that time. And when I walked up to the building, I could hear the timbers in the ceiling falling, and we had men in the front door on the north, and we had men on the west, and we had to pull them back because of these timbers are quite heavy.
Do you have any idea what caused the fire?
It's kind of, it's undetermined right at the present time, but we don't feel there's any arson involved.
The Dean of the Cathedral, the Very Reverend Leslie Olson, reacted to the disaster this morning with disbelief. However, he said it will not stop the church's Thanksgiving services, though they will be moved to a different location.
Well, first of all, tomorrow is Thanksgiving Day, and our Thanksgiving Day service will be transferred to St. David's Episcopal Church for that 10 o'clock service. We'll be back in this building for Sunday, provided we can get enough water out of the room we would use for service.
Are you planning on rebuilding the church here?
Oh, yes, of course. The question is, if the walls are secure, then we can use the walls. But if the walls are not secure, then we've got to do a complete replanning of the whole thing.
What's it going to take to rebuild the church? A funding drive here in the community or what?
It's going to take more than the insurance we have, I'm afraid, despite the fact that we've covered it as well as we can. I'm sure it's going to take
The dean told newsmen that probably $3 million in damage was done to the 65-year-old landmark. He said the most tragic part about it is that a lot of the things destroyed can't be replaced. Steve Burnett, Action News 27.
Plans for a December 14th extravaganza to raise funds to reconstruct the Grace Cathedral were finalized and announced this morning here in Topeka. The Grace Episcopal Cathedral was destroyed by fire last November 26. And as TV 27's Nancy Perry reports, it'll cost a lot of money to replace.
It was announced last night by the vestry of Grace Cathedral that $2,570,000 will be the cost for a minimum cathedral. This does not include stained glass windows or wood carvings. Insurance and donations have been totaled, and thus far, $375,000 must be raised to meet the $2,570,000 needed for the shell of the cathedral. Reverend Leslie Scary Olson, Dean of Grace Cathedral, was quoted as saying, "You don't build a cathedral in a day. It will take many years to rebuild. It will be a continuing rebuilding." Many projects have been started to raise the $375,000, and this morning plans for an extravaganza were revealed. Judy, tell me a little bit about what's going to be happening at the extravaganza.
I am terribly excited to be able to say that Mr. Bob Hope, Miss Edith Head with her private collection of Academy Award-winning costumes, and a top name fashion designer from probably New York or Los Angeles will be here for their fashions to be shown.
Judy, the date is December 14th.
December the 14th, 7:30 p.m. at the Municipal Auditorium.
And ticket sales are varied. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the ticket sales range in our donations, and these donations will be sold in the form of tickets, and the prices are $100, $25, $10, and $5.
We thank you, and we wish lots of luck. We need the cathedral rebuilt, and we'll be hearing more about it soon.
Cathedral were announced today. The cathedral at 701 West 8th was gutted by fire last November. Nan Goplerud reports.
Judy Stone, the head of the fundraising event, announced that entertainer Bob Hope and fashion designer Edith Head will perform a benefit show in Topeka December 14th. Mrs. Stone said the proceeds will go to a fund to restore Grace Episcopal Cathedral. After the cathedral fire last year, insurance settlements total about $2 million, and nearly $200,000 was raised by private donations and fundraising events. Church officials said they still need about $375,000 to pay for the rebuilding. Reconstruction on the cathedral has begun and is expected to be completed by September of next year. Mrs. Stone said tickets for the show range from $5 to $100. She said about 3,100 tickets are available from the cathedral, parishioners, and area businesses. Nan Goplerud, WIBW News.
On November 26, 1975, a tragic fire destroyed one of the most beautiful buildings in our community, the Grace Cathedral, and we're going to talk now about some good things because Dean Olson mentioned to us about a year ago that out of every tragedy, you can see some good lights, and good things have happened this year, that possibly the people wouldn't have been together as much as they are now, as joint effort as they were before. So we're going to talk about some of the good things going to happen. And of course, if you've been in this community any time at all the last 2 or 3 days or the last 3 or 4 weeks, you know that on Tuesday night, December 14th, Bob Hope and Edith Head, along with some other fine people, are going to come to the community in order to help raise some more funds. And we have with us today Judy Stone, who, are you the coordinating chairman for the entire event?
Yes.
Which must have been a monumental task that's coming to a head right here at the end, right?
It has been a task, but with the love and support of the millions of people that have helped me, it seems like it's been very easy to get taken care of.
And we also have Dean Leslie Olson with us today, and a lot of good things have happened in this year, haven't they?
It's been astonishing when you think that one man destroyed a building, and it's taken hundreds upon hundreds of people to start the restoration progress. And with this Hope Head and High Fashion show, the whole community and people in the state are rallying around so that To say nothing of the people who planned the building and built it. But it's most interesting, Jerry, to see all of these people taking up the slack that came when one man destroyed a building.
You look a lot better than I saw you a year ago, and you look a lot better. You have a smile back on your face.
It was a little different a year ago. A little different.
You know, this program that's coming up, Bob Hope, who is a name, you say Bob Hope, and you don't have to explain that to anybody. Can you tell me briefly the story behind why him and Edith Head have selected Topeka to come to for this special event? How did it all come about?
All I can basically say is that when I wrote to Bob Hope and to Edith Head, my letter was accompanied by a letter from Governor Bennett, and in the letter that I returned from Mr. Hope, he said, "This strikes a nerve with me, and I definitely would like to help if it can be worked around my availability." So we proceeded from there.
You found out what his availability was right away, right?
Right. Well, no, it took about 6 months.
It took 6 months?
I've been working for just about a year on this thing, and there are still things that will not be known until the last minute. It's been terribly exciting, and I could not have done it, as I said, without the help of hundreds.
Right. Now, along with Bob Hope, you have Edith Head, who is a fashion designer for motion pictures. She has done motion pictures for years. I would never say to her face how many years she's done this, but she has been a very successful fashion model for the movie business. And what is she going to do? What is going to happen on stage Tuesday night?
All right, on stage Tuesday night, Edith Head will come out and present what she calls the Hollywood story through costume. She is bringing with her her Academy Award-winning fashions that will be modeled by Topeka women who will be trained by Kim Dawson from the Dallas Apparel Mart in Dallas, Texas. After Miss Head appears, then Leo Narducci from New York City is coming and presenting a total collection that he has just finished.
So these will be new fashions too.
They certainly
Are the ladies
will.
excited about wearing movie stars' fashions?
Oh, I think so, yes.
I understand they're not even going to select the models until Sunday or something like that, because
That's correct.
Because Edith comes in on Sunday.
That's correct. Miss Head and Miss Dawson will do the final selection for the models.
That would be just fun to see that, let alone Bob Hope.
Yes.
Now, the money that I've heard figures between $80,000 and $100,000 that you'd like to realize out of this project. Now, Dean Olson, how much more are we going to have in order to complete the church? I wouldn't think that 80 or 100,000 would even come close to.
No, I hesitate to say exactly how much it would be, because if you're going to put the cathedral back into the same shape it was before it was burned, then it would probably be something like $4.1 million. But we aren't planning to do that. We just want to get it started. We want a roof and a floor and walls and glass in the windows, things like that.
Just to get back.
Just to get back in business in our own building. And we're going to need some money for that too.
Well, I know that the community is behind you 100%. I understand there are a few good seats left, right?
There are a few good seats left.
But there are some seats available.
Yes, there are, and I hope that I can persuade the people to call the cathedral tomorrow and this weekend and Monday to get their tickets. I did receive word last night that was very exciting to me from Mr. Hope's one of his men at Hope Enterprises, that Topeka is very, very fortunate that along with Mr. Hope will be coming Mrs. Hope.
Gee whiz.
And this is a very special event. She only picks very selective places to go, and she does the choosing, and she is coming and will be on stage with him.
We're looking forward to it. We may have surprises on the early news show coming up Monday or Tuesday of next week. We're not going to announce those yet, but we're looking forward to that. And of course, we're looking for the community turnout next Tuesday night at the auditorium. Thank you both for being with us, and we'll be back right after these words. On today's program, we're very delighted to have Edith Head, who is an Academy Award designer, and we also have with us today Leo Narducci, who is a designer from New York City, and they're here as part of the Head, Hope, and Fashioned, which is to take place at Municipal Auditorium here in Topeka tomorrow night, and Bob Hope will be here, and it's all to benefit the fundraising for the Grace Cathedral, which you probably all were aware that had a tragic fire just a little over a year ago. And I understand you came in town yesterday and been working diligently to get a show put together. And I understand you're also a little pleased with some of the local talent that we have here for your
I
models.
actually was worried because I'm used to working with, with stars and young actresses who expect to be stars. And I knew that you had lovely and beautiful women here, but how did I know that I could turn them into Grace Kelly, Mae West, Elizabeth Taylor, just like that? It was quite extraordinary because, I was a little worried about it. Not that I didn't expect them to wear clothes well, but the psychology of suddenly putting on these fantastic costumes of the past, and they became the people. I may never get the clothes off them. There's one woman, who's a beautiful girl, who said she was going to write home and tell her husband, exactly that what kind of a girl she really was.
Well, you present a show that is the history of Hollywood through fashion.
It's the golden age when everybody was one to see. All the men were handsome and rich, and all the women were beautiful and glamorous and sexy, and everybody lived happily ever afterwards, and they wore beautiful clothes.
Right. Yeah. Has it changed?
Of course, Hollywood today is much more realistic.
Yeah.
The glamour isn't there anymore. Actually, I think it's more glamour in modern things like you do, don't you?
I think it's a different kind of glamour. I was talking to Head earlier that she was one of my teachers in a sense, because as a kid, that was, what she's showing today is part of my library.
The glamour of the past.
Oh, of course. I sop up every book I can buy, and the show that the Metropolitan had in New York. It's our heritage. It's something that is unique in America, and I think that's something to be proud of.
Don't you have to overdo for fashions for the film that you would not wear on the street? Don't they have to be a little bit too much?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, in the past, there was exaggeration, there was super glamour, super sex, everything was extraordinary. Today, things have to be realistic because the public has changed. The public wants realism. You can't kid the public anymore.
Were motion pictures a thing that people would, instead of reading a magazine, let's say, to go to the movies and say, that's the way I'm going to dress, did they set trends to pictures?
They used to. For instance, if you're too young, but years ago, Joan Crawford used to wear things that looked like a football player, and that's admittedly, it's set a fashion.
I'm not too young, I remember.
No, but it's true, and Dorothy Lamour wore sarongs. Today, women are wearing sarong, the sarong evening bit thing that you use in New York. And so many of the things but today, everything is so realistic, and most of our stars today are men.
Yeah,
Instead of dressing Grace Kelly and Elizabeth Taylor and Dorothy Lamour, I'm dressing Robert Redford and Paul Newman and people like that.
Yeah.
And I must say it's very pleasant.
I can't imagine. I don't know how many movies you have done.
Lots.
I know you have. But I remember you from the days of the house party with Art Linkletter.
Do you remember the Linkletter thing?
Sure.
When women would get up and say, my husband won't take me out, why? And you'd look at her, she's like a blimp, the stripes going this way.
I'm not familiar with this.
People still meet me on the street and they'll say, I don't know your name, but aren't you the dame who used to be with Linkletter? Which to me is the highest praise I could get.
The highest praise that I think was when Miss Head came to visit my place in New York once, and I said, please, my sample makers all know you're here. I said, you must come in and meet them. And she very graciously walked into the sample room and met all my girls. And I've had Anne Bancroft, Angela Lansbury there, but when they met Edith Head, they just they just went crazy. They loved it.
It was fun that day, wasn't it?
Yes, it sure was.
Another thing is that as many pictures as you have done, it seems like every picture that you watch on television, if you watch credits, there's one name that always stands out, and that's Edith Head.
And I intend to keep it that way.
Very good. Well, we're good.
No, it's such fun. But, I think tomorrow night's going to be an extraordinary thing, truly.
Now, you're going to have how many models on stage?
I have 18. How many are you showing?
About the same amount.
About the same amount.
So about 36 different looks and so forth. And I understand it's a marvelous program. We'll come back. We're going to take a look at some of these fashions you brought along today. But we have to make this pause. We'll be right back. We're talking with Edith Head and Leo Narducci about fashion and hope ahead in fashion at the Municipal Auditorium tomorrow night. And I'd like to talk now about the dress that we're going to take a look at now. If you would.
Do you know that men are very lucky They don't really worry about what they wear. Does the average woman know what she wants to wear when she goes out? Is she going to wear a caftan, like the model? Is she going to wear a pantsuit? Anyhow, in the picture, it's a story a long time ago of a very famous actress called Eartha Kitt. And she was going to this party. Now, she said, shall I wear a dress or shall I wear pants? She decided to wear this dress. And guess what happened? Every other woman had on pants. And what would she do? Did she go kill herself? Did she go home and change? You know what she did? Show them, Eartha. Show them. Ostrich groomers. So the whole point is, if you don't know what to wear, whether you wear a dress or pants, wear both. So you see, in motion pictures, everything comes all right. So anyhow, she was the head of the ball and lived happily ever afterwards, just because she had enough sense to wear ostrich groomers. Now you see, there is a message of some sort there.
I would have never known if she hadn't done that.
No. But anyhow, those are the amusing, funny things we did in early pictures.
Now, doing fashion for motion pictures, do you have to fit the story?
Yes.
Or
In
do
other
you
words,
make the costume?
in other words, in the story, the girl was supposed to do this, you see. And we thought it was pretty silly, but I still like it, so I brought it, and I thought people tomorrow would like to see what to wear if you don't know what to wear.
Now, do you have any idea what year that was?
Yes, that was way back in about 1951.
51. It's amazing.
How time back there, right?
Now, you brought along the Today fashion.
Right.
Is this one of your creations?
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look at this.
This is a fabric that didn't even exist in the 1950s. It's called Kiana jersey. And it is a little one-shoulder dress, but it ties on the other shoulder. And this is the kind of thing that when a girl doesn't know what to wear, she can just fold this up in her pocketbook.
It doesn't wrinkle, I assume.
No, it really, I mean, she could really fold this up and put it in an envelope, the whole dress.
It'd be wonderful for travel, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's a great travel dress. And one of the nice things about it is that it's also under $100.
She was.
Yeah.
She's very attractive. With that.
Yes, she is.
It makes her look well. Now, let me ask you this about fashions. There for a while, the trend in the 60s was to look as sloppy as
The non-fashion look.
Now, is it changing? I hope it is.
Oh, sure.
What do you think? Now, this is your...
I think so, definitely. I think the young kids are dressing up. And there is a whole trend towards dressing up again. Women, not that women will stop wearing pants, but they want other things in their wardrobes in their lives. And they're starting to, if you go to restaurants in cities now in the evening, young girls are dressed up, wearing cocktail dresses. You can always look at shoes. If shoes are pretty and sexy, you can rest assured that the clothes are going to get that way.
You know, I would imagine that you fought the pantsuit, or did you? I get the feeling that you want a woman to wear a dress.
I made predictions that nobody would possibly wear them after the first shock. You know, we used them in pictures years and years ago with Marlene Dietrich, and we laughed at it, you see. I give in now. I think pants are absolute necessity. I wear them myself a great deal, and I don't think I'll ever give them up.
No, I
but
think
they
it's
are not the answer for evening.
No.
There's such things as day pants and evening pants.
Sure.
Or glamorous evening things.
Yes, I'm showing some tomorrow night, some evening things also.
What do you think they're going to wear tomorrow night? What are you going to wear tomorrow night?
Well, I think I'll wear a suit. But I mean, you know,
I'm wearing my straitjacket. No, I have a really uptight, double-breasted, dressy kind of jacket.
You're going to be dressy tomorrow night.
Yeah, I like to do that every once in a while.
I think people, I don't care what kind of people they are, is when they dress up, they feel good. And that's the way I feel. And I feel real good having you two on the show today, too, because you're both delights. And thank you for taking your time out. I know this schedule is just a rat race, and I appreciate you stopping by. Edith Head, Leo Narducci, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for letting us be here.
And tomorrow night at the Topeka Municipal Auditorium, I understand there's just a few seats left. So if you plan to attend, you better get your tickets now, because it's going to be a marvelous program with Bob Hope and the rest. So thank you all for being with us. We'll be back right after these words. And see a marvelous show we have for you today. Today our program is going to partially come to you from the Grace Cathedral here in Topeka. Our guest is Dean Olson, and we're going to talk about the past, the present, and future of the Grace Cathedral and see what has taken place over the last few years since the tragic fire just 2 years ago this week. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're back now, and we have Dean Olson with us. And, well, it seems like just yesterday, but it was about 2 years ago on the Early News Show. You came on like a day after the tragic fire, and you also had a little bit of doubt in your mind, too.
I was bewildered, absolutely bewildered. I built, but I wasn't sure how long it was going to take us, and I didn't know how we were going to do it, but I knew we were going to do it. That had to be done. Look, it's been exciting, just exciting to see everything that's gone on, to see the skill. I didn't know there's so many skilled here. Absolutely astonishing to find such skilled stone cutters and stone masons and carpenters. Yeah. Exciting.
You know, some of these workers are doing things that they possibly have never done before, and they're having to relearn some of their tools and wares, right?
I think that some of them have had to dig back into their experience a good deal to find out how much they knew, and others have learned an awful lot and very quickly.
Are the workmen feel like they're doing a piece of art instead of building a building?
It looks to me as if they are really building a cathedral instead of erecting an ordinary building or just doing a job. I see some skill involved here and some pride involved. I see them taking out stones that aren't right and putting them back in. I am very pleased with their attitude and with their craftsmanship, really.
Yeah. You know, we have a model right here of that the architect has reconstructed the church. Maybe you could possibly tell the people exactly what the fire did to this church before and what has been going to have to be rebuilt by using the model here.
The fire started over in the far end, or didn't start there, but it burned out the McClintock Chapel. It gutted the whole building that you see. The towers were left at this end. On the interior, all of the limestone was gone. All of the floor was gone. The only thing standing were the outer limestone walls. It also gutted a couple of adjoining rooms on the other side of the cathedral.
So all of this interior, all that was left was just the exterior walls then?
Just the exterior walls and a lot of charred destruction.
Yeah. Was there anything that you could say from the inside that you're going to put back into this church?
The only thing that we were able to say was a charred altar from the chapel, one brass cross, altar cross, 2 candlesticks, and a lectern, and that's all we were able to save. The rest of it's gone.
A lot of churches have been started on a lot less, haven't they?
Oh, yes. Yes. Just because you don't have anything doesn't mean you can't start.
Yeah. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about the future and the good things that's going to happen to the Grace Cathedral and look at some of the plans and designs, and we'll be doing that right after these words, so stay with us. We've talked enough about the bad things that happened. The fire was not a good thing.
No.
But let's talk about, I guess I would say it's be a joy to rebuild this church. It's something to do and give the people something to do.
When you start out with the idea that a cathedral ought to have the most beautiful artworks that you can possibly offer to the glory of God, then you have to start to find artists who can fulfill this. You start out in stained glass, for example. I'm not talking about painted glass. I'm talking about the ancient art of stained glass. And I think we've looked into 15 different artists, everything from locally to England, in order to find top-ranking people. And we found some. We found 3 that are excellent.
You have to start out with something, so you have some models here that...
oh, yes.
Can you tell me where these come from, and what's the difference between the two?
These happen to be... both of these are from a studio in California. The one shows simply a window that is painted, the design is painted on it, and the other is a lumiere which lets light show through and lets you see what it would look like if it were actually stained glass.
I don't like to mention money, but what's this going to cost to have something like this?
I don't like to have you mention money. I like to talk about art. The price of these windows is somewhere between $150 and $200 a square foot.
Gee whiz. And how long would it take them to build something? Let's say you decided on this design. How long would it take them to get something like this?
Well, first of all, we'd have to approve this design, and then to say that we didn't approve certain sections, send it back, and they'd send another design. I suppose anywhere from 9 months to 12 months before we're installed.
Now, this 3-panel stained glass, where would that go?
This would go in one of these sets of 3 window along the side aisles of the cathedral.
Oh, right up there.
Right out there that you can see.
Yeah. 1
larger and 2 smaller side windows.
Would you have that kind of stained design on each of those 3 windows, or just one pair?
You'd have the stained glass on all of the windows. Yeah. Would cover each window. And each window would have a different design. They're to tell the whole story of the life of our Lord and some Old Testament characters and the 12 apostles. It's supposed to be a teaching idea. So,
you know, I remember my days as a child sitting in church listening to a sermon that I spent many times daydreaming at the stained glass windows and seeing different things every time I came. So it has a meaning to it.
Oh, the whole idea is if the sermon's dull, that you're supposed to look at the window and preach yourself a sermon. They're excellent, good teaching ideas, and that's what we ought to do with them.
Okay. Let's go over and look see some of the things on the altar. Is it like buying something for the home or like a new car, something you want everything, but you can only have so many things?
Your desires are very great. We aren't going to be able to finish the cathedral with all of the things we'd like to have. Take us another 100 years to do that. So you have to start out with what you can get, and what designers you can find, and what material you can purchase.
What do we have here on the floor?
This is 2 drawings of. On the floor is a drawing of an altar cross, and leaning against the bookcase is another conception of an altar cross.
Are these same designs from stained glass people, or you have to go to somebody else for this?
No, you have to find somebody who works in the metal crafts. We have one man in Colorado who's doing one design. Another man in England is doing a design. The problem is that the cathedral is of such a different size that you have to find a designer who will make the right size and the right design to make it look nice in the cathedral.
Now you have these models, drawings that are the actual size, so you've cut these out and set them up inside the cathedral?
We expect to cut them out, set them up on the cathedral for Christmas Eve, and find out how they work.
See if people in the back can see them, right?
Right. If they can't see them, they're wrong.
What's so unique about these designs?
The designer of the bit larger cross felt that it was important to have reflection from the cross. If you just put a flat piece of brass up there or silver, certain lights will make it die and it'll be turned black. So he's done a lot of variations in the design to create high reflection qualities.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed those are rather large candlesticks.
The candlesticks have to be rather massive. There's nothing that I can buy or anybody else can buy on the market. You have to have someone design something that fits the building. And when you have a building that's quite tall and quite long, you have to have something large and massive.
Are there a lot of designers and designing for cathedrals and churches?
There are a lot of fine designers in America. I suppose we've never had a time when there were more good designers than we have now. The problem is to find one that can design for a cathedral, and that means that there are very few who can do it.
So they're rare, and their job is quite well done, as I can see by some of the drawings.
The designers that we found are excellent designers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've talked about the past and what is happening now, and we're going to find out about the future of Grace Cathedral right after these words. We're back now, and we've moved to the studio now. We're going to share with you some pictures that were taken the other day inside the cathedral. The construction workers have a funny feeling about this. I think we talked about it a little bit. We might want to reemphasize the fact that they're not just building a building, are they?
This is one of the intriguing things. We have a sign up there saying you're not just laying stone or driving a nail, you're building a cathedral. And I think that the workmen we have there have really felt that this was something special that they're doing. And the kind of care they're taking and the interest they're taking is very interesting, and the result is a marvelous job.
Yeah. What are some of the changes? One of the things I noticed is the beams that are in the ceiling of the cathedral are not the old wood beams. They eventually will be covered with wood, I understand, but I guess the other cathedral had solid wood beams, right?
The old cathedral had solid wood beams and enormous iron, not steel, bolts to tie it together. And of course, when it burned, it's almost impossible to get that kind of wood and that kind of size at the rate we could afford to pay for it. So we have to get steel, and the trusses are fine. There's one truss there that's, interestingly enough, it spans some 51 feet, and they had to go up 41 feet, and their tolerance was 1/2 an inch.
Wow.
When they came in and laid that truss in, the architect and the superintendent on the job breathed a deep sigh of relief. So did I.
Because it fit.
It fit perfectly. They dropped it in, and it was like laying a watch down. It was beautifully, beautifully cared for.
You stand inside with the construction going on right now. Do you ever wonder if it's ever going to be completed?
I wonder. Every morning I wonder. It's taking a long time. I was relieved to read someplace the other day that the cathedral in Cologne, Germany, took 600 years to build. I figure we're doing very well with our 2 years. Maybe we'll get it done before 600, but it does seem slow.
Yeah. I understand it's going to be a little bit bigger on the inside.
On the inside, they have raised the roof line, the ridge line, so that the total height is about 60 feet. In other words, you could put a 6-story building inside. And the feeling is, again, of loftiness, which from our standpoint is interesting because it makes God big and man small, and maybe gives man an idea that he isn't the God of the universe. But the building is going to be lovely that way, and there's going to be more windows and more lights coming in. Such small details as that will make a difference. The windowsill is deep and slanted so that the stained glass colors shining through will come not only through the window but reflect on the sill. So the color will be there, and it will appear longer and higher than it was.
But do you feel like that it's you, or you're having so much to do with it yourself? I mean, you're on a job every day, but
the encouraging thing has been the feeling that not only was the whole congregation in this at the cathedral, but the people of the city have shown such a deep and lasting interest in it, and people outside in the state of Kansas. It's been a marvelous thing for us to be encouraged by their help.
We're looking forward to the day that it is completed, and as I told you before, we will be there and making sure everybody can share in that moment. And once again, it is back to its fine, beautiful self again. And Dean Olson, thank you very much for being with us on this holiday, and we'll be back with more of the Early News Show in just a moment.